make this one. I wanted to make this video. So I'm a scalper, but I only take one trade a day. And now let me tell you why this actually works for me and why I prefer this way more than being a scalper and taking multiple trades or holding on to trades for a long period of time and just taking one trade. The reason I like this, and I have reasons why, but let me just simplify before I really get in depth. The reason I like this is because it's simple. It's simple. It's very simple for me. And I just, whatever is simple when it comes to trading, I do better in. So when it comes to a strategy, it's a simple strategy. I only look for a couple things and I'm in. I'm not looking for all these indicators and this to add up and for the moon to be aligned like that. No, I'm just looking for one or two things and I'm in. Okay. So I like simplicity in trading, and that's what helps me take the best trades. But let's get into it. So I'm a scalper, but only trade one trade, only take one trade. So let me give you the first reason: precision over quality. So the thing that I realize about taking one trade a day is that you are focused and you are really you train your brain to be more precise when it comes to taking those trades. You know you can't take those trash setups because you can't make it back in another trade that day. You know that you have to wait a whole another day just to make that money back. So you think wisely when you take that trade and when you're about to execute a trade. So you have to depend more on the precision than the quantity. And what I mean by that is like you can only take one trade. So that one trade, it has to be, it doesn't have to be a banger, but it needs to be a good trade. It needs to be a good trade. So you can end off the day saying, oh, okay, this was a good trade. I maybe took a loss, but at least I took a good setup. Because if you take a bad setup and you try to make it back, you can't make it back because you can only take one trade. And the reason why I do like scalping and why I'm a scalper is because I'll break it down in seven, but I'll give you a little hint. So the reason why is because it's in and out. I get to know if I'm gonna get stopped out or if my trade hit within seconds. I don't have to wait years or not years, but hours and hours and hours. I don't need to be checking my phone every like 30 minutes. Oh, is my trade about to hit? Is my trade about to hit? Am I about to hit the stop loss? No, I don't have to think about none of that shit. And also, I trade options. So I'm trading SPY or QQQ 0 DTE contracts. So you know how lucrative that can be. So that is another reason why I scalp. But we'll get into it more over here. So but precision over quantity, having that clarity or having that understanding in your mind and knowing that you only are going to take one trade, and that one trade you have to be very precise with it. You can't fuck up, you can't do no bullshit, because if you fuck up and do some bullshit, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to sit all day until the next day and think about that bullshit ass trade that you just took. Right? Because a lot of the times what I used to do is I used to take a lot of bullshit ass trades, but then I would take a good one after that and it would recover. So then I wouldn't really learn from that mistake because I would say, "Oh, I took a W. That wasn't a mistake. It was just, I took a W. That was just like a little bit of a mistake. It wasn't even a mistake. I just took the wrong trade." Shit like that, because that W would blind me from that trash ass trade that I took. And I never fixed the problem. So those trades that went unchecked, they kept piling up, kept piling up, kept piling up until I started taking one trade where I was forced to review that one trade, and then I would review it, break it down and say, "Oh shit, it makes sense." It makes total sense. I fucked up because of this or because of that or because I was emotional. Straight like that. So that's why I go with number one, precision over quantity. So number two, avoiding over trading. And I kind of spoke about this, but let me break it down. So avoid over trading. So one of my biggest problems was over trading. Whenever I took a loss, I always wanted to be right. I always wanted to be right. So what would I do? I would enter another trade, not because I saw a good setup or because I thought it was a good opportunity, but because I wanted to end off the day knowing that I was right, that my idea was right, that my trade was actually good, that my mind that I predicted right. I just wanted to be right. So when I understood that I was over trading because I wanted to be right, I stopped over trading and I just focused on taking one trade. And I know if I'm wrong on that trade, then it is what it is. I'm wrong and I have to figure out the mistake. And there's no trying to be right. And also, what happened was I was burning my account even more. I would take a little loss, like let's say I would take like let's say $100 loss, and I'd be like, oh, fine. Like my biggest day was like 500, 100. Shit, that ain't nothing. So then I would take another trade and then I would lose again. And then now I would be at 300. And then I would be like, ah, shit, okay, but this one's gonna be a tight stop loss. But then it would fuck me up. And then I would lose even more. I would lose even more on that trade. And then I'm like at negative 520. And then I'm like, fuck. That right there would happen all the time. I always was over trading. So over trading, bro, it has to be one of the worst things that you can do if you're trying to grow an account or if you're just trying to trade with more discipline. That's why what I like to do, one trade a day, because if I'm over trading, then guess what? Those if I and also if I take multiple losses, those losses are stacking up, stacking up, stacking up. Rather, I could have just stretched it out the whole week. One a $500 losing day could have turned into a $500 losing week. What's better, a $500 losing day or a $500 losing week? $500 losing week, because imagine the next day you take another $300 loss, and then now you're down even more. Now you're down, or let's say you lose 500, 500 on that day, 500 on the next day, right? Taking multiple trades. Now you are down $1,000 at the end of the week when you could have just been down $500 in one week, and you could have just slowly grew it back, got your money back or whatever. But you see what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because that is what happens a lot of the times with me. I would fucking overtrade and I'd be down a whole bunch by the end of the week, and I could never seem to grow my account. I could never seem to grow my account, and it kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and I could never seem to grow it. So that was one of the biggest problems. So if you are struggling with struggling with growing an account, it probably has to do with overtrading. So I would recommend taking one trade a day. Okay, let's get into number three is clarity and clean data. So, like I said, I kind of explained this in the first one, but clarity and clean data. So, you have so much more clarity because you know you're only going to take one trade. You know you're not going to take multiple trades. So your mind is more clear than if you have all these other thoughts about all this trade and this trade and this trade, or how I can make it back and how I can make this back. You just have so much more clarity and you have clean data. Like, okay, I took a loss today and then I took another loss. And also, it doesn't look as bad on your trading journal if you track your losses, because you have L, and then you have an L, and then you have an L. So you know you took three L's. But if you have five L's, two L's, one W, and then one L, that looks fucking horrible. Then rather than just taking three L's, I'm telling you, it looks horrible. And it just that right there fucks up your psyche, because I'm like, damn, I took five trades in one day and all of them were losers. So now all on my trading journal, it looks even worse. All those losses, it looks like I took more losses. It looks like I took losses every single day for like the past month, but that was only like the last 2 days. So it just fucks up your mind and mental even more. So that's why I think it's just way better to just take one trade, bro, because you don't have all that fucking data, fucked up data that you took all those red days and all those losing days. It's just like, okay, you took three losing days, okay, that's not bad. Or if you go through a losing streak, you took five losses in one week, right? Rather than taking not 10, 20 losses in one week. That's fucking worse. Like, that's worse. If you take 20 losses in one week, is for that one day is gonna show that it was red, right? But if you actually look at the numbers and the statistics, the whole week you're gonna see 20 losses, and that's fucking embarrassing. And that like, for me, what that did is it would demotivate me. I wouldn't even want to trade anymore, because I'm like, bro, I took 20 fucking trades and they were all losers. But it wasn't because the strategy didn't work. It was because my mindset. By the time I'm taking that fifth trade, I'm already mentally drained. Which we're going on to the next one. Four, mental energy conservation. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about on three. But what happens is, by the time you take all those losses and you take another trade and another trade and another trade, guess what happens? You're fucking drained. You're mentally drained. And also, this is why I scout, because I'd rather get stopped out within seconds and then go on about my day and do whatever else I have to do than get stopped out in 5 hours. I don't want to be looking at my phone and saying, okay, am I still in? Am I still in? Is this going good? Okay. Oh shit, we're up. Okay, now we're down. Now we're up. Now we're up. Oh shit, I'm about to get stopped out. Oh wait, never mind. We dropped again. And I don't want to be in between all that bullshit. I want to be in and out. Time is money, and I don't have time to be fucking looking at my phone and looking at this trade and doing this and doing that. That's why there's scalping account and a swing trading account. So you know what to expect on your swing trading account. But if I'm, because I'm a scalper and I mainly trade on my scalping account, I don't really trade on swing trading account. But when I'm in my trade, I'm like within seconds, I know what's gonna happen. I know this is gonna stop me out or it's not, and that keeps my mind so much more clear. Have I'm so like it's so much more clear than if I'm taking a lot of trades and also if I'm holding on to them. Imagine, oh well, SPY is coming up and then Tesla's going down and then QQQ, AMD is doing this. It's like, bro, what the fuck? All that shit going on it just fucks you up. It fucks me up. So that's what I would say. But yeah, so I would say that it's just clarity and clean data. So mental energy conservation. Okay, number five is, did I write these down? One, two, three, four, five. Okay, yeah, five. All in focus on one setup. Now, this is good because now you're really serious about that one trade. You're really serious about that one trade you're gonna take. You're not like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see. No, you're looking, you're focused, and you're not gonna hesitate because you know if you hesitate, you bitched out, and then you have to sit with unknowing that you bitched out the whole day. So imagine you go on a date with your girl and you know deep down inside you're a bitch. She probably would have had more balls than you and would have entered that trade. But you're the bitch. So fuck that. She need to pay for the dinner. Okay? Because that's how you'll literally like that's literally how you'll feel when you bitch out and you only take one trade a day. Because like I said, you can get away with it if you take another trade and you take a W because that winning trade is gonna elude you from that trade you took earlier. Is going to elude your brain and you're not going to think clearly, and then you're going to forget about that trade you took earlier that was a losing trade and that you bitched out on, and now you forgot about it because you took a winning trade. So you forget about fixing that problem that you had with that one trade. That's what fucks everything up. So all in focus on one setup is so much better. Your mind is so sharp. You're working, you're looking, and you're like, okay, I'm looking. I'm gonna get in there. You're more locked in than if you were to take multiple trades. Because if you take multiple trades, you're okay. Well, we got this one. Oh, we got that one. I can just get in this setup. I can get in this one after. So excuse me. I just like it because of that reason alone. So clarity and clean. No, no, what was it? All in one, all in focus on one setup. So that's why I like it because you're just all in on one setup. You're looking at it, you're taking it seriously, you're not half-assing it. Because a lot of times I used to half-ass shit because I knew I was gonna take another trade right after. If it was a loser, if it was a W, I don't care because I'm taking another trade right after. But now on this one, I'm like, I can't half-ass it. I gotta actually be focused because if I lose, then I'm done for the day. If I win, I'm done for the day as well. So I have to. This has to be a good not a good, but I have to execute whatever your criteria is. But my criteria is mostly focused on execute. So if I execute bad, which is in hesitating or being bitch or bitching out or not getting in, then I know that I have to sit with that the rest of the day. But if I take the trade and execute, even if I take a loss, I know I can sit with that, and I'd rather sit with taking an execution but taking a loss than missing out on a trade because I bitched out. I feel so much better knowing that I took action than I just sat on the sidelines and bitched out. That's like being in the passive mode and being in the active mode. I'd rather be in the active mode because I'm actively doing shit rather than being in the passive mode and just watching. Like, would you rather be having sex or be watching porn? I'd rather be having sex than be in the fucking watching other people have sex. That's fucking weird shit. So, that was all right. Let's get into the next one. So, no need to force it. Yeah, you don't need to force it. You don't need to force it because when you take multiple trades, for me, what I've seen is that you always need to force shit. You always need to force trades. And also, as a scalper, a lot of scalpers, they know they're taking multiple trades in one day. So they start forcing and forcing and forcing and forcing. Oh, let me get in this trade. Let me get in this trade. A little quick move, a little move, a little move. No, me, I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm getting in one trade. I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna be focused. I'm not gonna force, I'm gonna focus. Not force, remember, but focus because that's what we want to be. We want to be focused. We want to understand what we're looking for. We're not looking for dumb trash setups that we're going to force because remember, we have to sit with that for the whole day until the next day. And if you take a loss on Friday uh, by bitching out or forcing a trade, you have to sit with that for the next 2 days until the markets open again. So that's why you don't need to force it, especially as a scalper taking one trade. You don't need to force it. You're in and out, and that's it. You're done for the day. And people always ask me, well, how do you even make money if you just take one scalp and one trade? Well, that's why we got number seven, smart exits. So I've had good luck with this a couple times. Not good luck, but I've had good trades, and I know all trades I'm not going to be able to have these smart exits, which is holding on to runners and letting them run for a while because a lot of trades will go crazy. And let me actually go over a trade that I took today. So this was a trade that I took today, and I held a runner, which I actually ended up getting out right here. So, okay, let me actually break down what happened. So I got in right here, as you can see, and by the time, and this was a quick scalp. This was like within a minute. So that was a 1 minute scalp. And we tapped in it here and we got a rejection. And then it just started shooting up, shooting up, shooting up. And then my target was right here because I was kind of expecting this to be a supply zone, which it actually was. So it was a good exit for me. But I ended up holding on to the one runner. And usually I hold on to two or three, or I'll hold on to more. But in this case, I held on to one. I held on to one because the way that it was looking, it wasn't too convincing. So then I just held on to one. And although it barely went up, like it just only went up right here and then it started shooting down, then it came up a little bit more, then I got out. There have been times where I've entered trades and I held runners and them shits went boom ballistic. They went fucking crazy, like all the way up here. So I was initially wanting to make just like right here, but then I end up making more because I held runners and because momentum was so good. So you can turn that little scalp into a crazy win because remember, a lot of the times what happened with me, and I've spoke about this in past videos, is that I would be so focused on catching that whole move. So I'll be so focused on catching this move right here. So right here. Right? I would be so focused on catching this move right here. I wouldn't even be focused on executing. I'll be so focused on like, oh shit, how far is this gonna go? So then I would not even take this trade or some bullshit would happen where I would just not be focused because I wasn't focused on the execution. I was more focused on the direction. So what would happen as well is that like this would come up a little more, a little more, a little more, and then I would get in a little late just for more confirmation. And then I would get in right here, and then I'd have to move my stop loss a little more. And then this trade actually didn't end up going all the way up here. It ended up just doing something like this, and then ended up reversing, and then dropping. And now I lost even more because I was trying to be a little bit more safe and also because I got in late. But with the way that I trade, if you know how to use smart exits, you could actually have capitalized on this whole trade. So let's say you get in right here, or yeah, you're down here, we're down here right here, and you get in because you get that good execution, you get that good entry. And then you see this, and then we come up, we come up, we come up, we come up, we come up. And then let's say your exit was right here, but then right here where this circle's at, but then you see the momentum is shooting up with so much momentum. You see the candles moving up with so much momentum, sorry. And then we just keep shooting up, 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 keep shooting up. And then you're like, fuck it, I'm out right here because you start to see momentum die down. So now look at this trade. You got from here to here, less risk, and then also, this was the initial target. Like, this is initially what you wanted, but then you ended up catching more because you had a smart exit, which is you held runners. And now look how much you made. Now look how much you made. What is better, this right here or this? This right here, because right here you're more focused on predicting where the market is gonna go, and you think you know where the market is. Like you have this idea that the market is gonna do this, but in this case, you're not trying to predict where the market's gonna go. You're just trying to execute. You're focused on execute. But since you're so focused on execute, you're not focused on where the market's going to go. So when you start to see that momentum and the candlesticks show you that momentum in real time, you're like, okay, I can make the decision now based on real time data. And you see it and you keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, and this ends up going crazy. And then you can get out whenever time you want. But if the candlesticks keep shooting up, keep shooting up, keep shooting up, you just keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, and you end up making more. So yeah, maybe you took small little scalps, like maybe you made $100 and then you lost maybe $50. But then this day you capitalized and made $500. 500 fucking dollars. So imagine, that's what I'm saying. So this is why I have seven as smart exits, because if you have smart exits, you could be making way more money than you even initially intended to make because you have smart exits. But this all started because you're only taking one trade and also you're scalping. So you're not focused when like scalpers are mainly focused on execution and that's it. People who hold trades on longer periods of times and just excuse me, this is just what I saw. I know some motherfuckers in here who hold trades and swing traders are gonna be on some bullshit. I don't give a fuck. You can say whatever you want, but what I've noticed is that a lot of those people try to predict the direction. Not everyone, but a lot of these people I've seen, they try to predict the direction on where the market is gonna go. So they're not focused on the actual execution, or they'll have indicators that will help them determine to get in that trade or not. But me, I'm not focused on indicators, nothing like that. I'm focused really on execution right here and getting that rejection. Once I get the execution, or once I get that rejection, I execute and that's it. And if this runs up, then it runs up. And I'm not expecting these trades to just shoot up and go crazy and go ballistic every single time because I know that doesn't happen. Like as you obviously saw today, it didn't happen. But I leave the option open just in case it does, because if this would have came up and done numbers, this would have been a way bigger trade. This would have been a way bigger trade than it actually was. But I didn't come in with the mindset of, oh, I hope this is a huge trade, or I hope this comes all the way into here. No, I'm just thinking about entering. And then if it does run up, then shit, I'll hold on to it a little more. But if it doesn't, oh well, because my goal, what I wanted, already happened. The rest is just like shit. I'm just here just for the fuck of it. You know what I mean? It's like if you go to the club and you see one girl and you're like, shit, all right, that's cool. But then more girls start approaching you, and then you leave the club with five girls. You're like, shit, initially I came in to get one girl, but I left with five because my game was so on point. Rather than if you go to the club and then you try to get five girls and then you're just overthinking it and you're just, oh yeah, you're trying to talk to everyone and you're fucking spreading yourself too thin and you end up pulling no girls. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's basically why I scalp and only take one trade. I don't know if this was any benefit. I don't know if you could take anything from this, but if you are to take anything, is that try it out. Maybe if you're someone who likes to trade and you like to be simple with it, you don't like to overcomplicate shit, try it out. See what this is, see how it is for you. If you are more level-headed and shit like that, and if you can trade better, and if your mind is more you have more clarity trading like this, then go ahead and this might be the new move, right? Because but also like if you like taking multiple trades because you're bored, then that just means you don't got shit to do. So if you're someone who likes to take multiple trades just because you don't want to be bored, then you should probably do something with your life and have other goals, not just trading. Because if you're just bored, you don't have nothing to do, then go out, touch some grass or something. But other than that, that was basically it. And I just wanted to break that down. But yeah.